Welcome back to another episode review and breakdown for Superman and Lois, our final video for season 1, because we just got the season 1 finale of this show. And I have to say, it was a great episode. Of course, it resolved our story of season 1 and also did a few things to set up season 2 as well. So guys, we got a lot to talk about, and of course, as always, spoiler warning if you have not yet seen Superman and Lois season 1 episode 15, because we are going in depth on this episode. So, alright, let's get into this. So, of course, at the end of last episode, we got that huge part where Jordan got kidnapped by Morgan Edge, and now he has been turned into basically Zeta Rho, the father of Morgan Edge, has taken over his body. So we follow right up with that in the beginning of this episode, where Clark is now searching for Jordan, and he just can't find him until he does actually end up finding him, because Jordan, he keeps blipping in and out between Jordan and Zeta Rho. And so he was able to send out a signal and hear his father calling for him. And he's able to find him. So then we get some cool Superman versus Superboy action here. We get some Steel versus Morgan Edge at the same time. But then we also see Morgan Edge, or the Eradicator, but I'm just going to call him Morgan Edge. He uses X-Kryptonite to create even more Kryptonians. So now there's just this complete immediate evacuation throughout the city. So, of course, our team has to kind of regroup and make a plan. So that's exactly what they do, and they're basically going to split up. So, Superman and Steel are going to take on Morgan Edge and all these other Kryptonians, while Lois is going to work on trying to save Jordan. So, first of all, Steel goes and gets Jordan, brings him back to Lois, and then she decides she's going to use that memory device that we saw in, I think it was episode 11, where it was like the flashback episode where we were inside Clark's mind and it was showing his origin and all that stuff, how he met Lois. So they're using that same technology to try and reach Jordan here. But of course, Zeta Rho has completely taken over his mind, so he's definitely going to be really hard to beat. And on the outside, you have Jordan actually waking up, but of course, with Zeta Rho actually being in control. So he attacks Jonathan, and he's about to kill him when inside, of course, Lois does end up saving the day and is able to reach her son. But then, meanwhile, like I said, Superman and Steel are working on battling Morgan Edge, aka the Eradicator, and of course they are able to successfully take him down and make sure that no more Kryptonian consciousnesses are able to be transferred into regular human bodies. And then, actually, right after this, Superman does a video interview with Chrissy Beppo, of course, from the Smallville Gazette, to basically reveal the truth about everything. What happened in Smallville, Morgan Edge, how he's from Krypton, and all that stuff. So, that was a big thing that we saw in the last couple episodes, that, like, everybody in Smallville was, like, super annoyed at, like, why do we not know anything? Why is the DOD here? What's going on with Morgan Edge? So now, not only whatever you would call them, but also the whole world knows the story of what went down there with Morgan Edge. And then after this, we of course get our prologue, where we wrap up everybody's story for this season. And this was honestly probably my favorite part of the episode, because you just get to see everybody gets a happy ending, and I really enjoy that. You know, sometimes they end off seasons with like, oh no, somebody died, or like there's some sort of like just bad ending for somebody's life. But here, everybody's got a happy ending. You got the Cushings, who decide not only that they're staying in Smallville, but they've reworked all their relationships with everybody. Everybody loves them once again. Kyle got his old job back. So yeah, they're staying in town. They're even hosting the town barbecue, which looked like a lot of fun. Lois, she actually gives Chrissy half of the money for the Gazette, so that now she can buy half of it, and now they can be co-owners of the Smallville Gazette, because of course, as we found out in the last episode, she was going to have to sell the Gazette. So now they have a way to not do that, and now they're officially partners, and they are co-owners of the Smallville Gazette. So I'm definitely excited to see more of that going forward in season 2. But then we get a surprising one, because we find out that General Lane is actually retiring from active duty, which is interesting, and again, definitely not something I was expecting, but he said he's going to do it so that he can spend more time with his family, and that's a big part of this show. And specifically with his character throughout the season, he was always putting his job before his family. So I think that that's definitely a nice resolution for the character, and definitely makes me interested to see like what kind of role is he going to be playing going forward, because before it was like, all right, he's with the DOD, so that's like how he comes into play here. But now he's just grandpa. So we'll see how it goes. But then we also have John Henry Irons, who says that he is leaving town because every time he looks at Lois, he sees his wife. And obviously that is very, very hard for him. And he just can't deal with that. So he decides he's going to leave town. He's going to try and get in contact with his sister. So definitely nice to see what's going on with him. But of course, we get another update with him at the very end. We'll talk about that in a second. Sarah tells Jordan that she loves him because, of course, in the last episode, right before Jordan was kidnapped, he told her, he said, "I love you." And now she responded with the same thing. So they're great. Love the relationship. Glad to see them going forward more in the future. But then at the end of the episode, we see, first of all, that the Kent family actually buries the remainder of the X-Kryptonite just under a tree on the Kent farm. So hopefully nobody else is going to be able to use that to make more Kryptonians and give more people powers. But the big ending, the cliffhanger for this episode, is that we have everybody just having a good time on the Kent farm, and then all of a sudden some sort of spaceship crash lands on the Kent farm. And it was like super dramatic and like, you know, really building the suspense of like, all right, who is this? Who's going to be walking out of this? And I don't even know what I was thinking at this time. Like, so many different theories were going through my mind. I was like, oh, it's Lex Luthor, it's Supergirl. And then I remember, Supergirl's already, yeah, whatever. And then I think the last idea I came up with, what if it's like Superboy, like the actual Superboy from the comics that like Lex Luthor created in a lab? That would have been cool. But no, it actually relates to John Henry Irons' story because it's Natalie. It's his daughter. I don't know how it happened, but same way as how John Henry made his way to this Earth, she somehow traveled across Earth and has now ended up on Earth Prime with her father, which is great. They get this great family reunion. But then, of course, she sees Lois and says, "Mom?" And, of course, she's super confused. And that is where the episode ends. And such a crazy cliffhanger that I was not expecting. But I think this is really cool because when we first found out that, like just a couple minutes before this, that John Henry said he was leaving town, I was really disappointed because, you know, he's one of my favorite characters in this show. And I really wanted to see him continue to just continue in this evolution of Steel and his whole superhero persona. So I was really disappointed that he was leaving. But now that his daughter's here, especially with now her questions for Lois, they're probably not going to be leaving town. And also, fun fact, in the comics, of course, John Henry Irons is the original Steel, but his daughter Natalie actually is the next one to take up the mantle. So if he does actually like retire and leave town or something, maybe she stays behind and she becomes the new Steel. So that could be pretty cool to see. And honestly, wouldn't mind that. But yeah, so that is where it ends, guys. That is the end of Superman and Lois Season 1. Of course, it's already been renewed for Season 2. I think the plan is for Season 2 to start in, like, sometime late winter. I think that's the plan. So I'm definitely excited for Season 2. Can't wait to see what type of villains we see in there. If we get some cool classic Superman villains, if John Cryer's Lex Luthor shows up, or if we get a cool, like, Brainiac or like Bizarro or Lobo or, you know, something like that would be pretty cool to see. But yeah, we'll kind of just have to wait and see. Hopefully we get some cool updates at DC fandom. But for now, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What did you think about the Season 1 finale of Superman and Lois? And of course, Season 1 as a whole. I honestly think it was great. This is top tier quality content for the CW. It was getting a little towards the end. I mean, it was good. It just wasn't on the level it was for the beginning. But it really stepped up its game here for this last episode. I really enjoyed it. It was such a wild ride. And again, I'm excited to see where things go in Season 2. But of course, as always, thanks so much for watching. Please drop a like if you enjoyed this video and hit the subscribe button so I can keep up to date on everything that goes on in the DC life.